growing up, I always felt like the kid that fell through the cracks. I had a good home life, and I was heavily involved in church, but I just felt this abandonment feeling. Like, the only comparison I can really find is like when you're in the classroom and you have the kids who are getting all A's, and then you have the kids who are disruptive, and everybody's focusing their attention on the kids who are being disruptive, because there is a reason they're being disruptive, but you feel like nobody sees me. I didn't know where I belonged. I just felt like there was no place for me. And that's when thoughts of suicide really began to just plague my mind. And I would always think of what it would be like to write my suicide letter. In fact, I wrote one several times thinking, this is the end. This is it. Tonight's the night. And I used to feel like even if I wrote this, and I think some of the times that I actually didn't go through it with it was because I thought, okay, if I wrote this and I did do this, nobody would actually care if I was gone. That's how messed up my mind was. I was so in this place where I thought nobody cares, but yet I want people to care, and yet I can't figure out what I'm even here for. I began to realize that, man, there's a God who cares. It's funny the way it happened for me. It just kind of clicked. It just kind of fell into place, and I can really attribute it to two girls who, my senior year, one girl just comes up and gives me a hug out of nowhere. And when I was a kid, like 3rd grade, this girl at camp gives me a hug. And both times I felt this presence when they hugged me. And so my mindset was like, okay, I don't really have purpose. So maybe if I can make people feel the way those two girls made me feel, something will click. And so that's what I did. I tried to just hug people. And people began to ask me, like, why do you just hug people? And they didn't know that, honestly, it was to heal what was going on internally. Like, it wasn't for them. Love you guys, but it was never for you. But God used that. And through that and building relationships with people, I began to see, like, His grace and His peace and His mercy, because people began to reach out. And I realized what it meant to reach out to others. I wish I could tell you that those thoughts and those feelings just like disappeared right then as soon as I just started reaching out to people. Like, I'm floating on cloud 9, ain't nothing wrong. But I still saw hard times. I remember graduating and still coming back dealing with the same thoughts. But now I knew those were lies of the enemy. And now I was equipped. I knew that I had community. I knew I had people I could go to and say, this is what I'm dealing with. I knew that I had the word, and I could be like, that's a lie. And that's a lie. I had better discernment. So no longer was I looking from vision that was blurred, but I could see clearly, because I said, you know what? God, it's yours. I was so messed up in my mind, and I dealt with a lot of different things mentally and physically, and there were different challenges, and yes, there were times I felt like I was all alone, but when I gave my heart to the Father, I began to realize that I'm not alone. I was alone mentally, but when love came in, it changed everything for me. I now walk with purpose. I walk with confidence. I have joy like no other. There are so many things that have happened recently that I'm like, if this happened to me back then, I don't know what I would have done. But the Father's love, like, honestly, like, there's no other way to put it. Like, His love is just so real. Like, His love is just so real. And I'm thankful. Like, I am super thankful for the Father's love. And I'm super thankful that He chose to love me. Like, honestly, some of the things that I have thought about Him or said about Him, man, but yet He still said, I love you, girl. You're my daughter. I created you. And I really feel like He's saying the same to you. He loves you. He created you. Like, that you have so much purpose. And so if you deal with thoughts and hurts and you just feel like you slip through the cracks, or you feel abandoned and you feel like nobody cares about me, who sees me? I've been there. I never knew who saw me. Does anybody see me? Does anybody hear me? Does anybody love me? there's for sure one person who loves you like no other because he created you from nothing. And if I could say it, I love you. Because honestly, I am on a mission to love like no other, because I've been loved by somebody who there's no substitute for his love. Because of the freedom that he's given me, I want to see other people walk in that freedom. That's why love is the mission. That's the whole purpose of this thing. You are loved.